Okay, in this particular video, I'm going to demonstrate how you would create a software instrument, a drum part of some type that you're going to manually play in. So unlike the others where you're either programming something in or you're dragging in a loop or a drummer type of track, this is you have to actually create it live while it's being played back. So we want a software instrument. Of course, I've already got one, but if you need to add one, you add this software instrument. You probably would want to open up the library, and you could go then to a drum kit. So you can choose what type of drum kit or acoustic drum kits. I can go to electronic drum kit, and I can, once I've loaded it up, I can use my keyboard to play the sounds and hear what that kit sounds like. On most drum sets, they're going to be mapped, meaning that how they assign certain sounds, they'll be mapped so the first key on your keyboard, which is in MIDI language is called C1 because it's the first C, will usually be a kick drum. The next one up will usually be a snare, that is D1. Now, whether that's D1 or D2, I'm playing right now on a much longer keyboard than the ones we have in the lab. So I'm playing actually C2 to get that actual drum kick sound. If I play what my true C1 is, I don't hear anything. So you just have to kind of play around. If the octaves have been shifted, you have to adjust it to find where are those sounds. But you'll notice that every key you play has a different sound assigned to it. Again, depending on the kit. I'm going to put it on, let's see what this compact sounds like. Kind of a cool sounding one. Okay, so I'm going to use this to record. I don't really need my library open anymore, so I can close that. Now, when you're manually recording something, whether it's drums in this case, or if it is an instrument that you're going to play in, it's very important that you record with the click on. That's the click track. Remember, it's this little metronome looking button up in the transport area. And before you record, it's probably a good idea to practice. It's also a good idea to at least play with a metronome to figure out, is this a tempo I want? Well, maybe that's a little slow, so I need to go to my tempo area. I can either just drag down, or I could double click on it if I know what exact tempo you want. I'm going to put this on 90. I'm going to make it quite slower. So a lot slower. I've also mentioned before that just because you record something in MIDI at a particular tempo doesn't mean you can't go back later and change the tempo. So I could record this slower because maybe I'm not coordinated enough to do it quickly, and then just speed it up later, and no one would know the difference. So I'm going to record, and I'm actually going to make this, I'm going to turn on my cycle mode. Again, I can just click on where I see my cycle mode is, or I can click the cycle mode button, either way. And I'm going to have it actually loop because I could actually record one instrument at a time. Maybe I can't coordinate my hands in some way, whether it's using the piano keyboard, or whether I'm using drum pads, or maybe I even do the Command K to bring up my musical typing. See my octave isn't right, so I need to go down to C1. So I could even use that to play stuff in. I don't have to have a keyboard on me. So whichever method that you're using, you can still manually play things in. But I can actually do one kind of multi-pass. Every time I'm repeating back, I can add a different sound if I want. I could also try to play it all at once. Now, one last thing that I would probably want to do before I restart recording is to go to the quantize. Remember that you have, if your inspector is showing, I have this region. So it's any region that I start recording here, I can set settings on that before I record. So I could say I want to actually quantize to my 16th note so that I won't have to record it here that I didn't do it right and then quantize it. It'll quantize it while I'm doing it. But again, I still have to have my metronome click on, because if I record without it and then try to quantize, if I wasn't close, it's just not going to fix those problems. Okay, so I kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do my kick and snare, and then I'll add I guess that's sort of a hi-hat sound. That's better. Okay, and I'll do that on a second pass. So I'm going to hit record. It's going to give me 4 beat count off because I have this button on. So here we go. Okay, whenever I'm done, I can just stop. Now, if I double click on this, well, one, I could zoom and see a little what I did, but that's not very much detail. If I double click, I can now see it all down below in my piano roll editor, and I can actually see that everything is perfectly quantized. Let's listen to it again, though. Okay, so you notice that as it looped back that second time when I added the little hi-hat sound, it just joined them together. So I can keep on doing that over and over. If I don't stop, I can just keep on recording over and over. Now, I was having a little bit of latency, a little bit of delay because I'm recording and hearing this. So that's why my 16th notes at the very beginning aren't quite where I wanted them. So it's like my little hi-hat thing is all kind of off. So I can easily just highlight them, move them over one slot. There, that's better. That's more what I meant to do. So this is a way that you can manually play in, again, either using a keyboard, using the musical typing, again, that's Command K to bring that up, or go to the window option and choose that. Or I could, of course, use drum pads if I have them on a keyboard or any other type of device, but it's manually playing. Yes, it is possible to grab a pencil tool and to just click in stuff, but believe me, it is much more time consuming to do that than to actually play it in. And as you know, some people say, as I mentioned, that, well, I just can't play it that well. That's okay. Play one instrument at a time, have it loop to record, slow it down, because now, of course, I can speed this up. Let's make this like 140, way faster. It sure, you know, I surely couldn't have coordinated all 3 of those things in one type of play. So I just kind of use the advantage of MIDI with that. And of course, once you've created something like this, you can always loop it. You can do all this type of stuff that you can do with any MIDI region. Okay, so have fun trying that out.